VeeFam, welcome back to another episode of the VeeFam Sessions. My name is Mr. Master, but you can call me Rob, and I am so happy to be here with the one, the only, the Michelle Urso. Michelle, how are you?
I am so great. I'm so excited to be here. You don't even know.
Likewise. I feel I'm so happy that we can finally do this on this platform. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. You're doing so many cool things right now, and I feel like you've just been everywhere, and people just don't know like how long you've been around. I feel like that's the consensus. You are this is not your first rodeo, and so I can't wait to dive into your history. But first, let's take it all the way back. Can you give us the 55-second cliff notes on who Michelle Urso is prior to ever hearing the word NFT?
Yeah. First of all, I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for asking me. And second, taking it back, I mean, I grew up in a really small town in Connecticut. My grandfathers were both entrepreneurs. My dad took over, bought a business from my grandfather on his side. So grew up around that and wanted to work for him so bad when I was a kid. My brothers would go up and he owned a little convenience store with a deli in it that my grandfather started in the 60s. My dad bought it over in the 80s. Um, so I just grew up around that and I fell in love with small business and wanted to work for him. So finally I kept bugging him and he was like, "What, the day you turn 15, you can come and work for me." And I kept bugging him so much that earlier in the year when I was still 14, he finally let me come up and run the cash register for him. My brothers worked in the deli. My mom worked there during the day. I worked there after school. So that's just how I grew up and I loved it. Like everybody in town knew my family. I knew everybody that came in. It just was a really small mom and pop shop. And I fell in love with small business then. So went to college. Actually, let me take it back. Still in high school, applied to go to the University of Rhode Island. It was a beach college. It was a beach party school. I'm sure you're familiar with growing up there.
You are high, yes.
Yeah. And I never heard it called that for some reason. But I
Really?
wanted to
That's
go to
all I know
school.
it as.
Yeah, no. I wanted to go to school for architecture, toured schools in Boston, went to URI. They didn't have architecture, but I fell in love with I'm obsessed with the beach. So I'm like, nope, this is where I'm going. Fuck architecture. I'll figure it out. And then I hung out with my cousin for a weekend, and her and I were really close growing up. I was close with all my cousins. And she was showing me like this yearbook from boot camp, from basic training for the Air Force. And I was like, what is this? She's like, oh, I'm in the Air National Guard. Like, you should come up to the base and check it out sometime. So I was like, okay. Went up, toured it, saw the fighter jets, and I was like, this is badass. I'm in. I don't even know what this is, but I'm joining. Went home, told my parents. I was like, no, don't send that first payment to URI like I'm joining the military. And my parents were like, I'm sorry, what? Like, do you know there's a war going on? Because this was 2003. So like everything had kicked off
Yeah,
after
yeah.
2001. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Like this is what I'm doing. And so I turned 18 in May. In July, I signed my papers and went to MEPS, took all the tests and everything. They give you like a list of jobs you qualify for after you take the ASVAB and you do your physical fitness stuff. And I remember going through all of them and I was like, aircraft mechanic, that sounds badass. I knew nothing about airplanes. I knew nothing about tools, but I'm like, yep, that's it. So while all my classmates were off to college, I went off to boot camp and tech school and everything. Came home, had to take a year off from college because I had to do like on the job training after I got back. And that was a long tech school. It was like 6 months. So I was gone for a total of 8 months, I think, and then had to work at the base full time. Then I started going to college the following year. Went to Central Connecticut State in Connecticut and went for business management. Like knew I wanted to be in business. Then we were deploying. So I was like, okay, once we get back from the deployment, I'll figure out, because I just graduated college. I was like, okay, once we get back, I'll figure out what I'm going to do work wise. I end up applying, because I had my degree now, I ended up applying for an officer position at the base. It was a military intelligence officer opening. On the deployment, got the call that I got the job. So I was like, okay, so now I have to come home and go to tech school for that. So I had to go back to officer boot camp. I went to military intelligence training. All of that was a very long time. So again, I was like, okay, well, I'll just bartend until all that happens and then I'll figure it out when I get back. When I got back from Intel school, I had to do on the job training again. And now I'm sitting in a vault, like two padlocked doors to get back to my office. I'm on a computer essentially all day by myself. Like there were two other guys that worked there, but they were opposite ends of the vault.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, this is not for me full time. So that's when in my life I decided I'm going to make a list of jobs that, or a list of things that make me happy and a list of things that don't. And how can I correlate that into a career? So I knew, knowing I wanted to own my own business, somehow looking at this list, I was like, realtor. I'm going to become a realtor. It's my own business. It's low to no overhead. It's something different every day. It's helping people with a huge decision in their lives. So I went and got my realtor's license, started building up my business.
What
And
year is
then
this?
this is 2014 now. My commander calls me, says, hey, I have this opportunity down in Florida. I want you to go. I said, okay, Florida in the winter? Hell yeah, I'm down. I hate the cold. Connecticut in the winter sucks. So I take this opportunity. Now, mind you, my boyfriend had just moved in with me, and he moved from Pennsylvania to Connecticut because I just bought a condo. And I was like, yeah, just come move in with me. We'll figure it out. And then, no lie, like 2 months later, I was like, ooh, I'm going to go down to Florida. Do you want to come? What do you want to do? So he was an RV technician, and they had a camping world down in Panama City, which is where my duty station was. So he flies down, he looks at everything. He's like, yep, I'm moving down with you. I was like, okay, cool. This was supposed to be a 6-month assignment. I loved it. He loved it. I extended my assignment a year, and then I was burnt out from that job. So I was like, okay, after this year's up, like, I'm going to be done. What does that look like for work? Let's start a business. And he, right when around my year being up, he got fired from his job. But he was an RV technician for years. Florida is like an RV capital for people
Sure.
going on
Yeah.
vacation. So that's when we decided, okay, like I knew how to work on airplanes. I can totally work on RVs. He's a genius in RV mechanics. I have the business background. Let's do a mobile RV repair business where we fix everything on site. Because these people are here on vacation. They don't want to tow it into a dealership. Then essentially they're homeless. So opened that business, super profitable. We were engaged. We ended up splitting up at January of 2020. Now, mind you, while we were dating, like 2017 timeframe, we were laying in bed one morning and he was like, hey, we were both on our phones. And he's like, hey, I think you would really like this dude. Check him out. And it was Gary Vee. Like knowing his background of working for his father, being a hustler, being an entrepreneur, he's like, you would really love this guy. Check him out. So I started following Gary Vee back in like 2017 and was obsessed and consuming his content. Because my mindset, my background, aside from obviously not an immigrant, but like very similar hustler, like grab stuff off the side of the road, would flip it on Craigslist kind of
Yeah.
thing.
The entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah, 100%. So I gravitated towards his content then. So now, fast forward, I'm on my own again and figuring out what the hell am I going to do for work. The pandemic hits. Anyways, I was just in a really
Hold
bad
on.
place.
I'm gonna
Sorry, this
give
is
you a
way longer than
yellow
55
slash red
seconds.
there. 2020, January 2020, you end the business or you split up or both at that point?
So
Did the
we
business
split
dissolve
up.
with the relationship?
He kept the business
Okay.
because RV technician was like his passion, his
Yeah.
thing. I didn't give a shit about RVs. So he
Got it.
kept the business.
And this is right before COVID.
Yeah.
Got it. So now,
Sorry, this is way longer than 55
this
seconds.
is, yeah, I was going to ask, did it feel like 55 seconds, all of that?
No, it felt like an hour. I'm so sorry.
No, no, this is amazing. And I'm so like, I don't want to stop you. Like this is
Please do.
so engaging. Um, I do want to point out a couple things. Number one, what town was it that you grew up in? I don't know. I can't remember.
Burlington,
Burlington. Okay, got it.
really
Um,
small town.
I don't know if we've said this on the record, but Michelle and I, for those that are listening, we went to the same college for the same 4-year period, 4.5 for me, and
Nothing wrong with
never
that.
crossed paths. We didn't really put those pieces together till decades later. Now in VeeFriends land. So I wanted to throw that out there, which is
Wild.
absolutely wild.
Like we had to have been at the same parties. 100%. We were around the same
Y-
areas,
At
hanging out.
the there's one bar on campus,
The E Lounge.
the Lounge. Shout out Elmer's. Yeah, like I want to know so bad. It's we need to play like
I want to
who,
find pictures because we have to be in the background of each other's pictures. Like it has to be a thing.
and we need to, not now, but at some point we need to play Who's Who. Like
Yes.
what there's, because there's only, it's a tiny commuter school,
Right.
so there's only so many pockets of people you could have been rolling with,
True.
and I want to know. Anyway, number three, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Unbelievable story. We could do like a lot just on that journey. So uh, definitely great segue for Gary though. So you first meet him in 17. You probably, do you have like an extra attachment to him because of the family business thing? Like that's a
100%.
huge
That's what
parallel.
gravitated me to
Got
him.
it. I figured so.
Yeah.
You're 2020, you get back in his algo again, or he gets back in your algo, I should say.
No, I mean, I was following him the whole time. I
Okay.
just,
You never fell
yeah.
out of love with him.
No, I was following him the entire time. And
So
that's when he was pushing TikTok, like get on TikTok twice, 4 times a day. And yeah, no, I was following his content the entire time. But you fast forward to the beginning of 2021 where he's like, get a wallet, look,
Mm,
get Ethereum, start educating yourself. I had been following him for so long that I just trusted him and I trusted whatever he was building. And I just knew that whatever it was, I wanted in.
mm.
And I started doing the homework and
So I have a tweet from you, and it's not always that I could cite tweets
oh
from
no.
2021, but this is a reply from you on Christmas Eve, so December 24th, 2021. You're replying to someone asking what your NFT aha moment was, and you tweeted out, VeeFriends. I believe in Gary Vee and everything he stands for. So when he put out the info back in April, I did my homework and liquidated some stocks to invest. I knew it was going to be big. I managed to mint five, and the offers I get on a regular basis really brings it home. We're almost talking 4 years ago, which feels like a lifetime ago. You, I mean, that's a big deal. Anytime you liquidate stocks to do something, that's a big move. You mentioned there's conviction there, but where in that, there's a lot there. Where in that did you like say, okay, like I'm making this big move? Because I mean, we're talking about we're talking about thousands of dollars here on something
100%.
that you've never heard of before.
Correct. Yeah.
Take me to your thought process there.
Yeah. I think I just had full trust in him because I'd been following his content for so long that I could see the trends of him being right about things in the past. He would call something out very boldly before anybody really even heard of it. And it was a massive thing. So I think I just trusted him from his knowledge standpoint, his background, his experience in business. There was something in my soul that I was like, I connect with him and his content, and I want to be a part of whatever he's building. For me, it was more of like, I don't know what this is, but I'm so excited. There was no hesitation. There was no nervousness about liquidating stocks. Like, I was so pumped that I was like, I don't even care what this is. But I did do my homework, right? So I'm reading up, like, what the hell is an NFT? What is Ethereum? What is the
Right.
blockchain? What is, what are the different cryptocurrencies? Like, I did my homework, but it was more of an excitement than it ever was like nervousness or what the hell am I doing, regret. Like none of that really came to
I
be.
love that. So you're just doing what he says, and he blasted a huge theme of VeeFriends is education. There was blasting of do this, read this, make sure you have this, watch out for this. There was a ton of that in this era. Were you plugged into, I know the Discord, Twitter obviously was a thing, but not so much Spaces. Discord opened soon before, a little bit before Mint Day, did you get in there and were you plugged into like a little core group of people, or were you just kind of were you a lone wolf doing your homework?
I was in the Discord right from the jump from when he was talking about it. And there were a few people that I was talking back and forth with. Luke Kenny, I'm not sure if you know him, Montana Kid,
Yep.
I think is what he goes by. So Luke and I talked a lot during that time. Adrian from Sweden and I talked a bunch. And there was a couple other people that, we were DMing back and forth. We would chat in the Discord. But I really was doing a lot of the homework by myself. But I was like, I would see people talk in detail on the Discord that I could tell were very knowledgeable. So if I had a question about anything I was researching, those were kind of the core. Like Luke Kenny was one of the people I talked with regularly because I could tell he seemed super knowledgeable. He was up on all that info, and he was just such a kind human being that I like gravitated towards, and we had a really great friendship that first year.
So talk to me about, you ended up getting 5.
Hmm.
We didn't really know to what the characters were until, or any of it was until the site dropped. We know it was supposed to be May 5th, Mint Day, pushed back to the 11th. So a double-edged question. What were you thinking like when you first saw the characters? Like it says VeeFriends for the first time, and then why did you land on the characters that you did?
I was so excited. I remember being up till 2, 3 in the morning researching these characters. Like I was looking at all the traits. I was looking at, their detail in the pictures that were on the website. Like I studied them hard. I even had a list, like I found it not that long ago, but I had a list of the top characters that I was trying to go for on Mint Day. And I know Motivated Monster was up there. I just loved what he looked like as a character. And so, yeah, I ended up getting Genuine Giraffe. That was really top on my list because I try so hard to be genuine and to be myself every day of life. And, when I was younger, I wanted to be liked. So I necessarily didn't be myself all the time. And I think as I grew into who I am now and the things that I've been through, it's really important for me to stay true to who I am and to be genuine at all times. And so that's a character that I was like, I need that. I need that character. And I really wanted a gift goat so, so bad. So my goal was the giraffe. And if I can get a goat, I want to get a goat. But then I was like, ETH was $4,000 at the time. I was like, there's no way I can do both because the floor for the
Mhm.
goat was 5 ETH or 5. Yeah,
Yep, it
5
was.
ETH. Yeah. So I was like, there's no way. So then I was like, okay. Then I don't remember the order that I got my NFTs, but I really wanted to get them based off of their characteristic. So Daring Dragonfly, I was like, I'm a daring human being. Like I do a lot of dumb shit because I just want to live life. I know life is so short and I enjoy that aspect of me that I love to just be daring and do daring things. And then Creative Crab, there's 2 that I DM'd Gary and I was like, hey, there's only so many left. Like the specs. When I got my spec, there was only a few left. And I loved the joyous jellyfish. I love that characteristic, but I also wasn't in love with any single one of them that was up there. So I DM'd Gary like, hey, do you have any recommendations? What should I go for? And I did that for another one too. And he DM'd me right back and told me which one to get. So I know I got that one because I loved it and because Gary was like, go for the jellyfish. And then there was another one. So my other 2 are the creative crab and the capable caterpillar. And I think he told me to get the caterpillar too. So that's how I ended up with those. But to me, once I started to get more, I was like, okay, now I want one of every rarity level. So now that I know the goat's out of reach, like knowing the amount of money I ended up spending, I could have got a damn goat, but I'm happy that I got one of every rarity level. So yeah, it was a research project for me, but the genuine giraffe was like my go-to, was my number one. That, as we watched the Dutch auction go down, a few other characters I wanted were gone because I was like, I'm not spending that much. I'm going to wait and
Right.
watched. And so I waited. I didn't let the giraffe hit the floor, but I let it get close to.
Amazing. Is the giraffe, we're talking September 30th, 2024, is giraffe still number one?
It will always be number one for me. I have a lot of characters that are really like becoming my favorites, but that giraffe will just really hold a special place in my heart too, because it was like my initiation into VeeFriends. It was the start of it all for me. So that will always, I think, be number one for me.
That's amazing. I feel that. Not so much. It's hard for me to stick with one, but the ebbs and flows of and seasons of like, man, this character just hits for me, or I'm really feeling this trait right now. I just live that ebbs and flows.
Yeah, it does.
So the initial what people were buying, the utility for all of these was the access to the 3 years of econ. Just until VCon, or excuse me, until May 22, so a year after you're minting these NFTs, we don't get to experience VCon. It's just kind of crazy. NFT land, community, collabs, drops, announcements, fun things. But Minneapolis, Minnesota, I know you were in attendance. Talk to me about walking in there, experiencing it. Just what happened. What was your experience like in
Oh
May
my gosh.
2022?
The anticipation leading up to that was wild. Like I'll never forget when Gary dropped the video for VCon. I was so excited. I was showing everyone. And everyone's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I don't even know, but I'm so excited to go." Like this is why I minted in, was to be a part of this community and to be able to go to these conferences for the next 3 years. So the anticipation leading up to it alone was so exciting. But then getting there, that rush of running down to the merch booth, like that was my first experience. And it was wild.
You were in that rush, that mad dash.
100%. I was almost near the front. Yeah. I ran and I almost got trampled. I was in it to win it.
You're lucky you didn't. Were you a pusher?
No, absolutely not.
Because
I
we're
was
still
getting
trying to
really
find those
upset.
people.
I was getting really upset at people that were pushing. And as the time got closer to Gary getting on stage, the more people were getting like really antsy and trying to push their way to the front. And I'm like, dude, we're all in the room. Like, you can hear him. The stage is right there. Like, calm down. And you could tell the staff was a little nervous too. So that was just a wild experience, but it was exciting. It was, and I went by myself and I couldn't wait to meet like Luke Kenny and a couple of these other people that I was chatting with on the Discord. And it was just such a cool experience.
It's cool. It is. I went by myself too, and it's such a safe place to do that.
It
Like
is.
it literally, you could have said hello to anyone, and I know it comes up all the time if you're tapped in the conversations. Like, all right, we get it, but it's just so true. It's just
It is.
such an amazing environment. So you were wow. So you were in line. You were one of the first people in line for that, and this past year for that closing keynote. You know how to get to the front.
Well, yeah, this year I was so hot and I needed to just sit down for that closing keynote. So I was like, you know what? There's nothing really important going on right now that I want to attend. So why don't I just go? Like, I've never been front row for any of the talks, any of the years. So why don't I just go sit in, wait in line in the auditorium? So yeah, I saw that there was already a line forming on the right-hand side. So I went to the left and there was nobody over there. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit by the door and chill out for an hour and see what happens. And yeah, as soon as those doors opened, dude, I booked it so fast and I kept looking over and nobody was even close. And I was like, I got this. I got this. And I was so excited.
Well, thank you again.
It was
Thank you.
epic to have, a bunch of us in the front row together. It was just such a cool moment.
It was awesome. It was so cool. So back to the timeline here. A little bit before VCon 1, Series 2 drops. Well, actually, let me go back even further. August 2021, Gary does his QVC stream, sells 1 million books. Did you get ape in on that?
Do you know me? I have a VeeFriends problem. I'm self-admitting.
I have to. I have standards to my questions when I'm on this particular program.
Yes,
This is
of
an
course
after
I
dark.
did. I was so, yeah, I was like, I don't know what this is, but, and then I got my mom involved. And then my mom buys all these, like, so many orders of books. And then she's into book games and she's in the Discord. And there was a point where she was sending me screenshots of her computer and like all the tabs on the top were like book games, Discord, VeeFriends. I was like, what have I done?
Uh,
But I was like, this is awesome. Because I was like, times where I was at work, she was like DMing me or texting me different things like, oh my God, okay, when you get home, do this, do this, do this. And I was like, oh my God. She's like, I saw this in the Discord. It was awesome. So yeah, my mom and I were both heavy into book games for sure.
as we're talking about it, it's such a cool. I don't know if "cool" is the right word. It's an interesting like barometer for how new someone is. Like we're seeing these 12 and a half books. I mean, for a while they were everywhere, and you couldn't give them away. But now, like they're starting to pop up. Like enough time has passed, and like I just like seeing how people react to them. Like if they get super excited, like and they're new, I'm like, all right, like they're this guy or gal is very fresh. Someone like wins it in a giveaway, and they're like, just give it, give it to this guy or gal.
I
It's
have
pretty funny as just like where they are because we've had a lot of new people come in, and it's just one of those like you don't really need to ask like where they are in their journey or when they came in based on how they react to a 12 and a half book.
I still have boxes in my storage unit. If anybody needs a book, please DM me.
12 and a half. So you get a bunch because that was another fun moment when those dropped
Yeah.
in January. Were you playing the arbitrage game or did you just kind of look and hold?
I held everything and then I was even on there like all hours of the day looking for different frames. Like I was like, I need one of every frame. I need to keep scooping these up. I'll never forget. I was dating this guy in Florida and I went up to visit him and I was on my laptop like looking at book games and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "No, no, before we go for a walk on the beach, like I just need to check out the prices right now. Like let me." And I had a notepad and I was like writing down all the prices. Yeah. So, heavy into book.
I love that. I literally just found a notebook with book game prices, like with pen and pencil and sticky notes in it of like when they did the new character thing, and I was tallying out how much USD it would be to go like for the ninja versus like this based on what I had.
Yes.
Like,
I
and I
did.
just
I actually just found that too. I found the character printout and then the frames that you needed for each because I was like, I need to go for the octopus and the whimsical wolf. So what do I need to be able to get into those? Yeah. It was
oh,
a wild
octopus was
time.
your number one.
What's that?
Octopus was your go-to. Like
I think
that
my
was what you
wolf,
were.
the wolf was my number one and octopus was my two.
God, Chelsea loved the wolf then.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even like move him to the side of the road now if she saw him on this on the street. But oh man, yeah. I was Minakawa, like he mentioned Minakawa, so I was big on that. Every devil was like out of reach.
Oh
Everyone was
yeah.
on the devil.
Same.
But I liked the Minakawa. And I still do.
That's a cool one. Yeah.
Series 2 drops. What talk to me like you're very, we could talk 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 stuff with you. Talk to me like what happened like chemically in your body, in your mind because you're obviously huge on Gary. Obviously you're on uh, VeeFriends till death. What happened when you first saw those drawings, those characters in their series 2 form? Did anything like click for you? Did anything happen when you saw like, oh,
Yeah.
this is where they're going?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be bigger than I even thought. And knowing Gary and how he operates just from watching him for so long, I knew he wasn't going to do anything small, right? Because he's in it to win it for the rest of his life. But I was like, shit, like these are badass. This is amazing. There's so much detail in here. There's so many different scenes and poses. I'm like, what does this all mean? But I'm so excited. And I couldn't wait for them to drop to see which ones I got. Like I could not open my wallet fast enough to see which characters I got. And it just was really exciting.
And yeah, with getting the evolving poses, like there was
Yeah,
obviously the crazy raffle and stuff. Uh, but man, was that awesome! I'm
it
so
was
big on the
so,
evolving pose.
yeah,
I
same.
I think it's one of the most slept on things.
I
in the
think so
whole
too.
ecosystem. Yeah, I like lost my mind. I didn't lose my mind because I don't like I'm not like that. You know me. I'm a little
Yeah.
more calm. But like that video, the We're Evolving video, when like I think it's the heartbeat like spins around and then he's in his new form, like I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. What did you think?
I was
You
I
just,
it clicked. I went to that next level of belief.
I love that.
Before it was all just like, yeah, like the characters, they're gonna be different. But then it was in that moment, it was like it happened. And now we're seeing
Amazing.
different versions of the characters with the cartoon. This is actually an historic date that we're having this conversation.
It is.
Did you watch?
I didn't. I've been at work all day and then I didn't catch it this morning because I picked up the shift last second. So I was rushing around all morning. But I was listening to it because they were doing the watch party on Whatnot, Jeremy and Rips.
Yep.
And I was listening to it as I was driving home from the grocery store.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. I was texting with Ann and Chels this morning about it. And the three of us were just like, this is unreal. The level that this cartoon is going to bring VeeFriends, like, I can't imagine what's going to happen from here. And I'm so excited to be along for the ride to watch what's going to happen. Like, this is epic.
Mm. Yeah, it's really fascinating because like so many things, even in the short time, right? 4 years, like we're talking about 2021. It's not that long ago, and so many things were like, yeah, wait till this happens. Like, wait till they redo the characters. Wait till the children's book comes out. Wait till there's a cartoon. Like, it's all happening. Like it's happened,
So fast.
and it's I don't know.
It's wild.
We just kind of keep on going here. But it's a great ride. Are have become a huge. I mean, I'm putting yourself more out there. I don't know if it's VeeFam Network. I don't know if it was the cards thing. Like when, because we never chatted. I feel like I've known you my whole life. We went to the same fucking college, but like we just. I feel like we just met, have known each other forever. But even in VeeFriends land, like we never even like crossed paths until like to the moon streams maybe, or like when I was, picketing for singles. So talk to me about the community and like where you feel like have you put yourself out there more in like this last year? And like maybe just like touch on like the strangers becoming acquaintances, acquaintances, friends, friends to family bit. Because I don't know. I feel maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but I feel like I didn't see you for like 2 years and now like you're everywhere.
Yeah. So I was heavy in the Discord when this first popped off, and then I fell off for a while. And I don't know if it's just where I was in my life or I just didn't. It was a lot of negativity in the Discord after a while that I was like, I just don't need this in my life. Like, I believe in this project, I love this community, and I'm not gonna keep coming in here just to read people bitching. So I kind of got myself out of Discord, and it was the cards. It was fanatics. It was the the cards that really got me excited and brought me back into being in it like full board. So I was so excited for fanatic streams, and that's what I was popping into all the time. And then somehow landed on to the moon, and I had the best time in those streams and in the chat. And then VeeFam Network came along and VeeFam After Dark, and I couldn't wait for Thursdays. Like Thursday was the highlight of my week. And it was wild to realize that I have more fun staying home and being on my computer with all of you than I do being out with friends in Nashville, Tennessee. Like that realization was wild to me that I know more about you guys than I know about friends here. I know more about you guys than I know about people that I've really been friends with for a very long time. And it came at a point in my life where I was going through a hard time too. Like I moved to Nashville, didn't know a single person. And And I'm not scared of that, but it's hard to make friends at this age. And I was trying, and going back into the restaurant industry because I wasn't sure what I was doing for work. Like, it's hard to find like-minded people that you connect with at this age that you want to hang out with, for me at least. And nothing against the restaurant industry. I've made some of my best friends in the restaurant industry, but at the same time, like, I want to build businesses. I want to do all of these things. I want to move myself forward. And it's hard for me to connect with a lot of people that are in that industry for whatever reason. So when I found you guys, it just was like this feeling of gratitude of like, these are my people. And I'm so stoked. And I want to hang out with them all the time. So being able to hang out with you guys in real life at this past VCon was unlike any other VCon. It was such an exciting experience. And truly, like, I made that video that I put on Twitter that Gary ended up reposting right after VCon. It was like, I was really upset to leave because I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to hang out with you guys again. And you truly all have become like my family. And so it's not that I'm trying to put myself out there more. It's I want to be around you guys, whether that's on stream or wherever it is in the chat or on VeeFam Network or After Dark, like, or Fanatics or whatnot now. Like, I just genuinely enjoy your company and I have the best time. And like, some of you guys make me laugh so hard that I just really enjoy our nights together. And that's kind of why I've been around way more than I had in the past. Because the past I felt like too was kind of just Discord, Clubhouse. We had those Clubhouse days, some Twitter spaces, but it's nothing like the streams that we have now.
Yeah, and beautifully said. I love that. Thank you for sharing. There's something about the video aspect that just makes it more intimate. Someone being able to pop up with their face versus just pop in on a Twitter space stage is different, obviously different than Discord. So there's definitely a different element, that the same people showing up in different chats, even if it's a different host of the party, there's the same nuances, inside jokes. It definitely feels like more like a family. And, you touched on how right Gary is, his track record. One of the truest things he's ever said was at VCon 1 when he first kind of talked about this whole notion of 3 years, strangers, acquaintances, and he called it camp. And that's kind of a through line through a lot of the conversation centered around VCon. But he said, he went through the years and he's like, wait to year 3. Like everyone's going to have their clique and it's just going to be a reunion. And that's exactly what it was. Um, and there is definitely, going back to your video, there is definitely that, like, I gotta leave my friends. I gotta go back home after a summer together. So
Yeah,
if I had to rank all of the things, like Gary was so the most right about this, it's
spot on.
probably that.
Yeah.
And he's been right about a lot. Yeah. VFam VFam Network, and I never really get a chance to talk on this show about it, but it first of all, thank you for being such an amazing part of it because it's it doesn't work without other people. Like obviously, and you're a very consistent part of that. That adds to it, and I think a yang to my yang. So thank you. But why do you think it makes like? Why do you think people come? Like, what is it about that that makes people feel closer? And I think about this a lot because I do like crazy things to get people on, like have dating games and like weird like let's be like play vulgar games and with like sexual innuendos. But like if we really tried to analyze it, why do you think people want to show up?
I truly think it's a night to disconnect from everything else we have going on, and we're in good company and we can truly be ourselves. Like, nobody's there
Mm,
to judge anybody. We're there to hang out and laugh and have a good time. And I think it's just a great, like, we're all in VeeFriends for a reason. And for me, that reason is the community, like minded people that I can connect with. And so on VeeFam Network, that's what we're doing in real time. on video or in the chat. Like we are all hanging out together, connecting, zero judgment, there to have a good time, to laugh, to just hang out and be together. And it's interesting you say that because it was either last night or the night before that people were in the chat on Whatnot saying, I miss Twitch. And I
Mm.
think people truly enjoy just the hangout aspect. Schedules get crazy, lives get crazy especially when you have kids and a lot going on, and it's hard to go out and feel like you are living your life, right? Like going out and experiencing things. But a Thursday night in on Twitch, like on video, hanging out, that is an experience. That is community. That is going out. Like you're hanging out with your friends. So I think it's just all of it. Like the no judgment, hanging out, disconnecting, having a good time.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's definitely different. One of the thing that pushed me to like actually do it, because I thought about it for a while, was like I was just looking around. I was like, all right, you don't have to pay money to hang out here, but you have to pay money to hang out here. Fanatics. And then
Right.
it was just so transactional everywhere. And yes, there's camaraderie, but it's just there's a different taste. There's a different taste in the water, different temperature in the water when you don't have to buy anything.
Correct.
So that's where I started, and it just kind of evolved from there. So, but yeah, it's I couldn't agree with you more. It's the people that keep on bringing me back, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, damn, like I sure could use a couple bucks for doing this, but it's just not about that. It's just different. It really is.
Well, and you've built something truly amazing, and I know so many people look forward to every Thursday night because of what you've built. So there is a payoff somewhere there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that, and I definitely like I believe in it. And just like VeeFriends, just like any like this podcast, any project, it's just brick by brick, and like it's the process that's paying the dividends, even though they're invisible at times.
Right.
Like when it is tangible, boy, is it worth it.
100%.
So on this note of community and wanting to immerse yourself more in it, like how have you because of the community or VeeFriends or a particular character, like how have you changed, how have you evolved?
That's a great question. Since joining VeeFriends? No. I feel like I have always been outgoing in my life. When there was like a kid sitting alone at the cafeteria table, like I would go and sit with them. Like that was always I just always wanted to include people. And so I think I've tried to do that in this community as well, like reach out to people or be there for people who I think need someone to talk to, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
totally does.
but I don't know how I've changed since joining VeeFriends. Like, I will tell you that you guys have brought so much happiness to my life since joining. Like I said, when I moved here, I was in a rough spot, just like I didn't feel like I was where I was supposed to be in my life. And the first apartment complex I lived in, it just wasn't my, it wasn't filled with people that I connected with, and it made me feel out of place. And this community made me feel like I was right where I was supposed to be. And I think that was huge for me, was like finding a place where I felt like I fit and I belong. And I think that that alone was such an impact for me over the last couple of years. That's been
Hmm.
huge for me in the last year alone.
You actually brought a friend, we'll call, for lack of a better term, let's call them a normie, people that don't really haven't messed with Web3 or VeeFriends or even Gary for that matter. It's hard sometimes when we love something so much and we have so much conviction of something, we kind of oversell it. We get so excited where it kind of turns people away. Like people that do like like multi-level marketing businesses do this a lot. People that I don't know, whatever they're into. They come on so strong, and it's hard to really articulate how excited you are and why they should be here, but like they would love it. How do you like, whether it's the community or coming on stream or like coming to VCon, like, and going back to the restaurant thing, there's some people, like, I know that world is very like, the default is very toxic, right? The default is negative conversations, which is exhausting for me
Right.
to take part in those kind of conversations, and as I'm sure it is for you. But how do you navigate that? Because we have a lot of people listening that want to get their friend in, or their sister, or their mom, or the biggest one, like a significant other. And we have people spending a lot of time in this community, but they look to, the other side of the couch, and they have someone that can't understand. So, like, what is a couple tips or suggestions you have as someone that's done it, uh, to to meet in the middle? See what I did there?
I love it. I do see what you did there and I love it. I think just explaining the best you can of what this is. And it doesn't have to be an NFT project, right? Because it's so much more than that. And I know that in the beginning that's what we equated VeeFriends to, was like, oh, it's an NFT project. And people are like, what's that? And then they would get confused and completely turned off immediately. But to me, this is just a community of amazing people that I love to spend time with. And whether you have a stream on in the background, maybe like when my parents were here, we were cleaning up from dinner and I'd put it to the moon stream on, and my mom could hear Tom just, yelling and being Tom, and she's laughing and she's like, who is that? And and she loved it. And so I think if you can try to explain it the best you can, that it's a community of amazing, positive, welcoming people, and then somehow just let them overhear something, whether it's a whatnot stream or a fanatic stream or a to the moon or a VeeFam Network stream, they could get a better idea of the people and the fun that we all have
Mm.
and how much we laugh. Like my friend watched the dating game and she was laughing so hard. And I'm like, these are the people. This is my VeeFam. Because I told her I was going to be on it. I'm like, will you watch it? Because I'm so nervous. And she was tuned in and she was laughing so hard. And that's the friend that I brought to VCon. And she just
Amazing.
like had the best time. So if you can somehow involve them in a stream just so they can see like what's actually happening, that would be helpful.
So be casual about it.
Be
Don't come
cash.
over the top. Would you entertain the idea of coming on for another night of the dating game? Or is that ship sailed for you? How do I get out of this one?
I had the best time, but I will tell you, I'm in a season of my life where I'm not looking. Like I think you know this about me. Like I love love so much and I love having a partner to experience life with. Like I truly think that that's such a magical part of life, is like having someone you love to share life with and to share experiences with and excitement with. And um it's never something that I will ever force in my life. I've wanted to have kids. I could have had that with my ex, chose not to for a reason. But I've also tried to put myself out there in so many different ways to try to meet my person, whether it's dating apps, whether it was the amazing dating show, whether it's, I even went to like a meet and greet dating thing here in Nashville, like not speed dating, but kind of. And I'm so discouraged that I'm just like, not, and discouraged is the wrong word because I know I'm going to meet my person when I'm supposed to.
Yep.
But I'm also like, you know what? Stop. Just stop looking, stop putting yourself out there, focus on yourself and your business, and then whatever happens will happen. So while I want to say yes, I'm also like, I don't know. I'm just at that point
I'm
where
gonna
I'm
say
just like,
no.
I mean, it was
Or
so fun though. Like I'm not
you
not
you can
about it.
say no. It's
I
your.
don't want to say no. That's the problem.
I know. If you guys are listening, you have to get on YouTube for VFam sessions. The visual to this rejection, you have to put pictures to words. So subscribe, hop on the YouTube, subscribe and watch this around the 50-minute mark.
It
I
was the
totally get
best
it.
time. So, I mean, yes, I would entertain it. Yes. I don't want to say no because I had the best time.
I love it. I got to find it in me to do it. I would do it 3 nights a week,
Oh my God, it
but
was
I
so
gotta
fun.
I gotta muster up I gotta do it.
Yeah.
I
And
just
to be fair, I got to know someone really well that I connected with on that show and had a great time getting to know them.
amazing.
So nothing negative came out of it.
Couple of questions before we move on to our last segment here. The VeeFriend character that you need to spend the most time with,
Oh,
or more time with.
that's a great question. Trying to go through them all in my head. Maybe patience, even though I feel like I'm a very patient person. Yeah, no, I don't think that's it. Can I come back to you? I can't even think of one right now.
It's all right. It'll come to you.
Yeah, it'll come to me.
Before we get to our last couple things, I want to talk about your content creation because you are a podcaster. Chase Your Happy podcast. Can you talk about you do coaching, you do podcasting? Can you tell us what you're doing, what your vision is, and the kinds of stories and things you want to talk about?
Yes, thank you. I'm rebranding it. Initially, it was not my practice life. I just have this innate need to help people in life realize that you don't have to be miserable, whether that's in your job, your relationship, your life, like your relationships with yourself or your family or your significant other. Like so many people I meet feel like they're stuck and that's the way life is supposed to be. And so I'm really like initially wanted to be like, this is not your practice life. Like, realize you have one shot at this thing and you can change. You are the decision maker for everything that happens in your life. Yes, you may be handed certain situations and certain things in life, like circumstances that you didn't choose, but you also have a choice on how you proceed from there. And so I'm rebranding everything to Chase Your Happy because that's ultimately my goal for helping people is like, where are you happy? Like, what brings you the most joy in life, and how can we get more of that in your life? And let's figure out the things that are stressing you out or causing you pain, and let's see how we can quiet those or eliminate them, and how can we chase your happy. So that's really important for me in this podcast and in my coaching business. It's really helping people just realize that there's another way, because some people just don't see it either. They just are like, well, this is the life I was born into, or this is my relationship, this is my marriage, like I'm sucking it up for the kids. Like, I'm just really passionate about helping people see that there's another way, and let's help you chase that happiness, whatever that
Mm.
looks like for you.
I really love the rebranding because I love the whole idea of finding it. Because a lot of people just don't know. Because like me,
Right.
I'll throw myself out there. Like I just haven't done enough stuff. Like I know things I like to do, but I feel like there's other levels and there's things that I would love to do or enjoy, and I just haven't done enough stuff yet because I've been living in this little, you know, cocoon and repetition and I feel like I'm at the end of the spectrum that does try more and is more adventurous and whatever. And I don't even think I'm close to my potential. So I love the idea of people trying more, tasting more and then, you know, that's how you're gonna find it.
Right.
Go chase it. So I love that.
I'm excited about
Thank
it.
thank you for sharing. Check it out. Chase Your Happy. We'll link it up. Last thing before we go to our last segment. We've talked about the community and how amazing it is. There's kindness and amazing things happening all the time on the timeline, in behind closed doors, in DMs. Most people are so humble that they don't advertise their kindness and generosity. So instead of blowing the whistle on someone in a negative way, is there anyone you want to blow the whistle on and give flowers to in a positive way? I know it's tough to single one or two people out, but who comes to mind?
It is. Right off the rip, I would say To the Moon, and that's Jay, Tom, and Chels. I just think that they bring the community together in a great positive way, and I think they provide value in everything that they do, and I just really enjoy from the start of like not even really knowing who they were or what they were doing when I got on their stream, and then just it's just been a really fun experience being a part of those streams. Whether it's like moon games or whatever they're doing, I just think that they're building community in a positive, really fun way, but they also just like are inventive with it, and they're fun, and they're just always provide value or send like little surprises, and if you buy into their breaks or something. So I just think that what they're doing is great. You, Rob, 100%. Like, I want to give you all the flowers in the world that I can, because what you're doing with VeeFam Network, what you're doing with VeeFam Sessions, like highlighting people in this community and just getting their story, because everyone has a story and we don't really know the background to a lot of people in this community. So what you're doing to build community one person by one person, I think is just beautiful. So you're like the other person that just is up there in my brain of, you deserve so many. And then like the dating games and bringing couples together, and like wanting spouses to bring their spouse in to be like, hey, let's do this marriage game show, but like this is the VeeFriends, community. So welcome in. Like, I just think what you're building is huge and it's beautiful, and I'm grateful to be here for it.
I appreciate that, especially coming from you. So thank you, and thank you for being such a integral part of it too. And I hope you stay on.
I
Um,
love it. There's no reason for me not to.
Paychecks are coming.
No, get out of here. I don't ever need to be paid.
No, I couldn't have asked for a better situation, because, and you know me, and if you have ever been on the VeeFam network, you know that I need to be wrangled in. I need someone there with a notepad, or to keep me
I got you.
on
Go.
track, on track. So thank you. And if you have no idea what we're talking about a Twitch channel called the VeeFam Network, where education meets entertainment in the VeeFriends land. So if you're listening to this podcast, you'd probably enjoy coming and hanging out with us in the VeeFam Network. So check it out. That's always linked up as well. All right, here we
I
go.
got my VeeFriends character that I need to spend more time
Oh,
with.
let's go.
Decisive duck, for sure. I overthink shit and I just need to make a decision and go with it. That's
I
it.
love that. That's a good one. Good one. Good one.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're moving into our last segment here with the Michelle Urso. It's called Micro Macro Spitfire. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of questions at you. You can answer it as briefly, yes, no, in one word, or you can elaborate, get out your microscope. Here we go. Micro Macro Spitfire with the Michelle Urso on the VeeFam Sessions. Favorite teacher you had growing up, and one reason why?
Ooh, Mr. Linder, sophomore year biology, because he was unlike any other teacher. He didn't give a shit what anybody else thought. Like, middle of our tests, he would yell out answers. You didn't know what page or where they were, but he would just do really fun stuff like that. And was just, he was just different. And I really enjoyed that about him.
Secret talent you have that most people don't know.
Secret talent. I don't know.
That is a historic first ever pass on this
A
show.
secret talent?
No, I'm kidding. More people have passed before.
I'm a great ice skater. I used to play ice hockey.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, sure.
Your favorite physical VeeFriends piece of VeeFriends memorabilia or collectible?
Oh, yikes. I don't know. Oh, you know what it is? The Meta Relics canvas for the specs.
Spontaneous seahorse?
Joyous jellyfish.
Or joyous, yeah, that's what I meant.
I love it's hanging in my bedroom, and I don't know why. I love those. They're so cool looking.
They're fire.
They are.
What was your favorite IP growing up?
Little Mermaid, Sesame Street, Little Mermaid.
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
98 Degrees.
As soon as so weird. As soon as that was coming out of my mouth, I was like, she's gonna go something like LFO or 98 Degrees, and
I was a 98 Degrees girl.
Amazing. All right. Well, on that, favorite concert you've ever been to?
Oh, I've been to so many that Mumford & Sons in Birmingham, Alabama was one of the tops on my list. Justin Timberlake at Madison Square Garden, amazing performance. Like, love him or hate him, he's a performer. Elton John farewell tour in Nashville. Like,
wow, some bangers there.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite.
The Time Machine Tiny Ogre, so the book game, the very rare book game, the most special one, could be traded for what in the future?
Series 1 in Gary's vault.
If you could only keep one social media platform, which one would you keep?
I love Instagram. That's where I post all my content, but you guys are all on Twitter. I would feel lost without Twitter, so I'm going to go Twitter. X, whatever you want to call it.
Your favorite movie?
Of all time?
Yes.
Top Gun, original.
What's your favorite flip? I know you're into the flip life. Do you have
Ooh.
a great flip?
I've had a lot of great flips that I've taken off the side of the road and flipped for a lot of money. I had this giant portrait thing that was leaning up against a porta potty, and I sold it for a few $100. It was like raining, leaning against a porta potty, and I dragged it upstairs into my apartment, wiped it all down, put it on Facebook Marketplace, and flipped it for a couple $100 like in a week or two.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wine, beer, or coffee?
All of the above, depending on the
Bougie
time of
hotel,
day.
bougie hotel, or hiking and camping?
Both. I want to hike and camp. No, I want to hike and then go sleep in a very comfortable bed.
We got to get the decisive duck in here.
Told you.
Paper hands pony or the koala?
Paper hands pony.
What VeeFriend needs to be voted into the White House this November in 2024?
Honest honeybee? Is that the...
Would you rather?
Did I just
Yeah.
make that up?
No, the honest honeybee.
Okay, I was like, that didn't sound right.
Or
Yeah.
honest. Yeah. I don't know. We always call it the wrong bee. People are forgetting its actual name.
Yeah, honest.
2 hour. Would you rather have a 2 hour group dinner experience with Gary, you and 8 or 9 other people, or a 10-minute one-on-one?
2-hour dinner for sure, because you're going to make so many great connections during that dinner and get to talk to Gary.
And if he was here right now, you had one question he had to answer honestly, what would you ask him?
What does green mean for epic holders?
Ooh, that's a good one. Michelle, you are the best. You such a light and the most beautiful soul. We are so blessed to have you in our community. Thank you for being
That means
with
a lot.
us. Thank you for being on. And yeah, guys, find Michelle Urso.
I'm sorry,
Give her
my
a follow.
55-second synopsis was like an hour and a half. I don't know why I didn't cut that down to like 55 seconds.
You're right. We'll just edit it out.
Perfect. Please do.
All right. Thanks, Michelle. We'll talk soon.
Love you, Rob. Thank you.